a fresh rupture is emerging across Europe's Ukraine strategy, as Sweden and France quietly acknowledge that Kyiv's headline-grabbing fighter jet deals are still only political promises, not binding contracts, even while Washington pushes a contentious peace plan that could force Ukraine to surrender territory and cap its military. Speaking in Stockholm, Swedish Defense Minister Jonson said, Ukraine's memorandums to purchase Gripen E-jets from Sweden and Rafales from France are not yet a business deal, stressing they carry no legal force, no funding, and no delivery timelines, despite Kyiv presenting them as major breakthroughs.
Ukrainian side has been very clear from the onset that they expected to have a mixed fleet of about 250 aircrafts, and we have been aware of this and we've been communicating because both Sweden and France are of course together with 14 other countries in the Air Force coalition. So everything we can do to help the Ukrainian Air Force is of great interest for us. As you know, this is not yet a business deal between any of the countries. It's a letter of intent, but it's a strong political message, I think, on both sides that we want to make this happen.
Jonson suggested seized Russian frozen assets may eventually finance Ukraine's defense needs, and insisted both the EU and Ukraine must be fully involved in the US-Ukraine peace negotiations, warning that any deal must ensure a fair and sustainable peace.
Increasing sanction pressure on the Russian side, especially the energy, we know that can make a difference. We are therefore, of course, we will now have the 19 sanctions package already adopted by the EU. As you know, we have a financial framework for providing the Ukrainian support for about almost 4 billion for 2026 and another 4 billion euros for 2027 as well.
France backed that position, with Defense Minister Catherine Vautrin urging that Ukraine must be at the table for all proposals, especially reconstruction plans, as Geneva talks continue over a 28-point US blueprint requiring Ukraine to cede territory, hold wartime elections, limit its military, and relinquish NATO membership. European governments, feeling sidelined, believe a rival proposal may be needed, even as US Secretary of State Marco Rubio admitted he has not seen an official EU counterplan. Russia, meanwhile, claims it has received no official update on the Geneva talks. Seizing on the confusion, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova blasted the French-Ukrainian Rafale deal as one of the biggest scams in modern history, accusing Zelensky of exploiting Euro vultures and pointing to deepening corruption inside Kyiv.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues attempting to maximize the output from the most fervent Euro vultures. On November 17th in Paris, he, alongside French President Emmanuel Macron, signed a 10-year agreement contemplating the purchase of 100 multi-purpose Rafale combat aircraft and 8 in-development SAMP-T air defense systems from the French. The Kyiv regime doesn't have the money for such a huge purchase. We might be talking about 20 billion euros, and Paris doesn't have the claimed amount of equipment. So it's a fascinating virtual deal. One party lacks the money, the other doesn't have the goods, yet they have seemingly agreed on something for a future time. Judging by all appearances, we are witnessing one of the biggest scams in modern history. This is, I must say, with the French side understanding that whatever is supplied, if anything ever gets supplied from this deal or what's being supplied now, gets destroyed by the Russian Federation, as it is detrimental to us and threatening our security.
Her comments followed a $100 million energy corruption scandal in Ukraine that forced the resignation of Justice Minister German Galushchenko and Energy Minister Svitlana Hrinchuk, with investigators detaining 5 suspects, including close associates of Zelensky ally Timur Mindich. With jet deals stalled, Europe sidelined in diplomacy, and corruption crises shaking Kyiv, Ukraine now faces a dangerous convergence of military uncertainty and political instability, just as Russia intensifies its attacks.